The dynamic duo back at it again. Not this dynamic duo. Look at them there. Allegri, at least he didn't take off his jacket. What's going on with these things? TikTok, Stevie P, Vinny T. What are we going to be talking about today, guys? Obviously, what happened yesterday is it's stealing points, another penalty, another gift. But guys, it is what it is. We're going to be going through our feelings, our emotions, glass half full, glass half empty, as you guys all know. And, guys, super chats are open. Like the stream, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Stevie P, especially in a week that Serie A decides to give us Tuesday games. What's going to happen next Tuesday? Are we going on live on Monday? If you'd subscribe, you would know, Steve, right?
Yes, sir. You got to hit that subscribe button, hit the thumbs up, and the little ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. And they're going to let you know if we're going on Monday or Tuesday. But, guys, just the channel is thriving. We're doing a lot more little short content. So, guys, check us out on Instagram and TikTok as well. It's the future. It's the wave of the future, 2026, short-form content, guys. That's what we do. We do Monday all the time, and we take clippets from there, and we try to go as viral as we possibly can go. 2 guys from RDP, one from Long Island, New Jersey, Long Island, wherever the hell he's from. The other one from California. We try our best, guys. So tune in to Fabio and Gio, coast to coast, guys. And anything that we put out, you got to subscribe.
And here we have a new fan base in Senegal, Steve. From your latest TikTok video. You like to do the viral videos over there on the TikTok machine. But
yes, sir.
Thank you for bringing the eyes.
I want to say, hey, what's going on to all my Senegalian friends? I would love to come out there and visit your beautiful country. You guys, Mendy's towel, baby. Mendy's towel.
And on that note, guys, let's get this show on the road. Siamo pronti, Stevie P? Siamo pronti.
Let's go.
Cari amici sportivi, welcome you to another edition of the Milan Weekly Podcast. Here we talk everything Milan. Another penalty, another gift to Milan. Dropping points. I don't know what you should call it. Vinny T, Stevie P. Guys, let me know if I'm lagging. I don't know with this internet connection, but Steve, how we doing, man? I know it wasn't the best of Sundays for us Milanistas, but how we feeling?
Very frustrated. Super frustrated. Drop points against the Roma that if we would have continued for minutes after minutes after minutes, I truly believe, a la Modric, they would never have scored against us. Which, for me, it's, yes, 1 point that we take away from a game that we suffered a bit, but 2 points dropped in the standings.
Steve, I wanted to begin this to have a little bit of fun. Because, I thought that these little Interistis comparing Di Marco to Maldini, saying that, well, if Di Marco had all these extra points and so many little games, he must be better than Maldini. Steve, then there was somebody else that said, hold my beer. Steve, I wanted to get your reaction. Enzo Iacchetti, Pio Esposito mi ricorda Van Basten. In pochi sono come lui. So in English, Esposito, it reminds him of Van Basten because there are so little people, few players that are just like him. So going from Di Marco to Maldini, now Esposito is like Van Basten, Steve. And you said, remember, they pay these people for their opinions. It's like, seriously.
Yeah, very sad. Again, we've said it quite a bit of times there. I don't like comparing through generations because I think soccer was much different than it is today, and we'll see during the show on other topics that I find that soccer is really suffering in terms of the quality that we had in the past and the quality that we have now. But now this is come to the point where it's pure stupidity out there online. You can just put anything and you're not accountable for anything. Comparing someone like Maldini to Di Marco is just unfair, even to Di Marco. I'm pretty sure, even though he's an Interista, reading that he must almost cringe. And Pio Esposito to Van Basten, it's there's no comparisons there, guys. It was a different time. That's a different beast Van Basten is, and I don't think we'll ever see another Van Basten. And that's the thing that's sad is we keep on comparing to these legends of the past because we're grasping at stuff because we will not see them again unless this game changes.
On that note, let's go directly to Sunday. 2:45 game. It was the big game of the weekend. Yes, Fab, you say I did say super chats are open this morning. I didn't screw up this time. Steve, I'm gonna begin to ask you about the formation. You're going into Roma at home. Both teams do need those points. Allegri's lineup decisions, Leão Nkunku, and the discussion was coming with. It's easy to say after 45 minutes of the way they were playing and how a lot of us are complaining about Leao's body language and his playing. The other side is that Allegri, seems that we're trusting him. Is this maybe what Allegri wants from him? I don't know. I'm just trying to understand, because at one point we're going to talk about the subs after, and you in the chat said we need the German and we need the Captain America, right? But at the beginning, what were your thoughts looking at Nkunku and Leão starting on this one?
We're not Monday morning quarterback this thing. I did not like Nkunku and Leão. That's again similar to Leão and Pulisic when we spoke the last time. I'm fed up of playing two strikers that are not strikers. We did it again and we suffered. During this game, you noticed in the beginning of the match, a couple of minutes in, we had some ball possession, but then we got in the final third and did absolutely nothing with it. Then we struggled. To get out of our own half, and it was terribly ugly to watch. And, if we go back in the past, not too distant future, we had Giroud there. And Giroud would be a good target man for what we were doing at a certain point, is we were trying to bypass our midfield because we were having trouble getting out of the back and stretch the field and be a little bit more direct and pick out a target man. We had no fucking target man on the field. Leão can't take a ball down. Nkunku is always in the wrong spot at the wrong time. And if they try to play off each other, they're just not on the same page. Because eventually, if you watch closely to everything we did once we did get out of our half, is we had two guys making the exact same run. That's a serious problem. And I like what Allegri's been doing. I like the fact that we're concentrating and we're getting points and we don't care how we look. What I do care about is that at a certain point, he needed to understand from last game or the games before that there needs to be a target man and someone to play off that target man. Right now, with the mercato that we've done, the German is the target man. Füllkrug is the target man. We need to find the solution where he's healthy enough to start and he's healthy enough to play with the best person who can play off him.
What do you guys think of Allegri's choices? Obviously he knows a lot more football than us. Roma was attacking Steve. I felt poor finishing because they should have been up 2-0 in the first 20-25 minutes, and it looked like they were pressing and Steve, maybe Magic Mike had one really like, wow, what a showstopper, because all the other shots, it's not like he was really tested. And trying to do with the counterattack. But the first 20 minutes, you think we saved ourselves? Did they look not dominant? Dominant is a big word, but to you, how did Roma look in those first 20 to 25 minutes?
Look, all credit to Roma. They were able to capitalize on Milan not being able to get out of the back, not making Milan do what they like to do, which is basically pounce on the counter, right? What was disturbing is we like to absorb pressure. We've absorbed pressure, and yes, we did it, but in the wrong way because we gave up too many chances against a better team. We're down 3-0 in this first half, and it's going to be hard to climb back, if not impossible to climb back the way we're scoring goals, right? Then the soccer gods come into a factor, right? And this has happened to Milan countless times this year, where we didn't bury our chances, and someone scores off a corner, and it's exactly what happened to Milan. We basically got a gift, and we have the winter being in the right place at the right time of a pure gift. Like that should have never been a corner. It should have. Milan didn't deserve it, but yes, we took the 1-0 lead, and still it wasn't enough. Still, it was terrible to watch, and it was almost like, yes, we took a 1-0 lead, but we were going to absorb, and the counter wasn't working.
No chances really in the first half whatsoever. For me, it's like we were lucky to finish at 0-0, and we're going to be, was it luck, Steve? Are we lucky? Because everybody's calling us lucky. Was it Milan being luck? I'm going to log myself out, come back in, see if this helps out with maybe me being a little bit slow. But Steve, talk about, are Milan lucky?
Look, lucky guys, we have to call a spade a spade. Use use that first half as a learning curve, and I hope they will be learning from it, because guys, we were lucky. And again, I hate to admit it, this was the time where Milan was lucky, because we should have been down at least 2-0. Those are goals, and those are chances that better teams don't miss. But that's soccer. That's the beauty of it. It's happened to us so many times. It's happened to us against teams that we've dropped points again. And I think Roma got lucky at a certain point, because if you don't capitalize on those chances, then yes, absolutely, the soccer gods come into play. I truly believe that they come into play. And for Milan, they came into play, but we were just not cattivi enough. We were just not, we didn't have that grinta inside us to be able to build on that result and to take the 2-0 lead. Because at 2-0, they're not coming back. I'm sorry, Roma's not coming back.
What pissed me off the most was, okay, Allegri getting these substitutions right. It looks like we're opening up a bit more play. Steve, you got to agree. And even Joe from Roma Club there was watching with us at the bar. I looked at him. I'm like, without this penalty, you guys ain't scoring. He's like, yeah. He goes, I don't like those kind of penalties, but I'll take it. I'm like, hey, I would have taken it as well. But Steve, Roma wasn't going to score on this game if they was going to stay 1-0.
No, they were not going to score. They just were not clinical in front. Malin, it's their new striker in the first half, burned at least three opportunities to take the lead. They lost Kone in the middle, which was causing us a lot of trouble. But no, they were not going to score. And this penalty, what irritates me is that it came almost from nothing. It came from a giveaway, which caused us to scramble back in our third. And it was a cross that should have been handled or by Mike or by Bartezagli or by De Winter. Someone had to come. It should have never bounced. One of the primary rules that we teach little kids, especially as they're going up in the ranks, and as they're coming into that 11-a-side field size, is especially in your final third, that ball doesn't bounce. And that ball doesn't bounce, and the clearance is anywhere is good at a certain point. And that would have been fantastic. Anywhere but making it bounce would have been great, because I don't think Roma was going to end up scoring after that. And it's unfortunate that we've come to a state in the game where defenders can't even defend, can't even keep their own posture anymore or balance, and we give penalties for things like that.
But in the end, Steve, it is a penalty in this day and age, because his arms being, I know it's easy to say don't have your arms out. I'm not a professional player, never close to being not even a regular player.
Again, it's strange because the rule, and I checked up on it, it says your hand cannot be in an unnatural position. That's just open to interpretation by the person who's watching that. And again, if we want to get into the ref right now, I think this ref just basically wanted to be the show. He thought he was the next coming of Pierluigi Collina. I found that he managed this game. He managed the game well.
Go, no?
He made things go, but he made certain situations about himself. And it was obvious that, unfortunately, it was towards Milan. And all those incidents just, played into a factor of him not having the best of games, just because he made a lot of it about himself, right? The incident with Modric and giving him a yellow card when he absolutely didn't do anything besides give the ball back, and then got pushed in the back. That's incident number one. Then it's the incident with Rabiot, where I don't know why he had to get into Rabiot's face and think that, again, it was honestly someone who was trying to be the reincarnation or, the re-emergence of the field general himself, Pierluigi Collina, and try to boss around someone who really, honestly, was just going to check to see how that person was going there, right? So, and then the third one, which is the most bizarre one ever, is unfortunately, it's only Mike Maignan who cannot take his time on the side of the net. No one was on the penalty spot. No one was trying to dig a hole in Roma Stadium so that he's going to miss the penalty shot. He was just taking his time. Yes, obviously, just add the time after. But he made it about himself and had to do a Hollywood play acting of Hamilton there, where he was all dramatic that Mike Maignan touched him. That's the things that pissed me off. And again, that's the rage that I had in terms of Roma coming back and tying that game, because yes, Roma could have scored 4, but in the end, guys, they scored nothing. They scored 0. They burned all their chances. Every single one of their chances got burned. And that, to me, is you can be dominant. You can look great. You can play beautiful football. But in the end, it's the score sheet that counts at the end. And Milan was up 1-0 at that time. So cry all you want, Roma fans. You're not scoring a goal unless they gift you that penalty shot. And that's a gift.
I think that's reality. And if real Roma fans can't even... Guys, it is what it is. You weren't going to score. Penalty, yes, I'll give it to you. But we deserve to win. Yeah, just like Como deserved to win. In the end, the history books say 3-1 for Milan, and this history book say 1-1. There's not a star next to Roma saying that they played better. Tops, and is it hard to give a top of the match on this one, Steve? Maybe Mike keeping us in the game, but again, I didn't find that. I'm not taking anything away from his performance, but it's not like Rome, he was standing on his head like the way he did against Como, right? On this one, because I'm trying to look at the starting.
Everybody in this game struggled and had good moments, right? I find, Rabiot and Ricci and Modric in the middle had good moments and bad moments. I find that, Bartezagli, besides, that PK, I think he made some nice runs. He did have some giveaways. So, it was a very sloppy game by Milan in general. So it's hard to give a top. Mike Magnan made the saves when he had to make the saves, but he can't be our man of the match all the time, right? It seems to be a recurring trend where we like to have Mike Magnan hold up the Panini statue and say, I'm the man of the match. And you saw him even get the man of the match and didn't really look like he wanted that man of the match, right? We need to find something else, right? We need to have the Leaos as man of the match. We need to find someone else. But flops, we have ton.
Yeah, anybody specific?
I'm gonna bite my fucking tongue over here, and I was really pissed off. I was watching this with Gianfranco, and I told him what this person was doing during this match was another selfish act, and I'm very disappointed in Salamakers. I'm very disappointed in him because the first match he had an excellent game. Excellent game. You know, he was walking the walk, he was talking the talk. I don't mind that. But when you're not walking the walk and you're not having a good game, you shut the fuck up, you play simple, and you move on. Because he made it about him versus Roma instead of Milan versus Roma. And that I really didn't like. I thought he was terrible. I thought he was in a mind game with Wesley for some reason. Who the hell is Wesley? You're not playing Cafu. You're playing Wesley, for Jesus Christ. And he made it about himself. And, you know, for how bad Leão was and how bad Nkunku was, Salamaker takes it away just because he made it about himself. He made it about himself. And that's something that irritated me because he had a good game. I know that's a bit part of his game plan. He wants to be the one who rubs people the wrong way and gets a reaction. Well, you know what? Alexi, you lost. You lost because in the end, this was you not being a professional about the moment that you were in. You knew and you felt, you had to feel it because we all did, that Milan was in a delicate situation where we were suffering. And instead of, you know, being one of the veterans on the team, you acted like a child and you got subbed off at halftime. Rightfully so.
Or Atekame. Ramiz, thank you very much for the super chat. When the 1-0 scoreline doesn't work for us, we end up with the product and it's bad. Unfortunately, unwatchable. Thank you very much for the support. And Facebook Frank. Also, thank you very much, Frank GPT. The only stat that matters is the final score. Pundits and coaches like Fabregas need to accept that, like they should have accepted back when they were players. Steve, it's funny that we're mentioning this, but let's go straight into Vinny Mancini's question from Patreon. Kind of getting tired of seeing our goalkeepers and defenders getting Player of the Game awards. Shows something that the game against Roma further exposed this team's weaknesses and vulnerabilities to other Serie A contenders. Depth and support does not look to be arriving this January. It looks like this is what we got. And for fuck's sake, Allegri, with the players we got, let's try a 3-4-3 if you want to start certain people up front. But Stevie's saying it. What does it show? Like, it keeps on being defensive players getting Player of the Match awards. Exactly what you were saying, you know? But does that, you know, saying that exposes teams' weaknesses and vulnerabilities to everybody else, saying that, you know, most of our defensive guys are getting top end awards or game of the match?
Guys, I'm really shocked at like the world of soccer right now. Like, I don't know what people thought that they were gonna get when Allegri took over this team. Did people think, you know, and I'm not saying Milan fans, because I think the majority of the Milan fans understood what we were getting with Allegri. Allegri is someone who is very methodical, very system-oriented. He is a defensive-minded coach. He doesn't care how ugly and disgusting we play as long as he gets 3 points. And I'm okay with that. I'm really okay with that. Because defensively and the counterattack is something that I enjoy. I like that chess match with another team, especially someone who likes to play champagne football. So I don't know what people expect Allegri to do. He's not going to start next week playing champagne football.
No.
When we absorb pressure properly and we can hit on the counter and people are firing at all cylinders, Leão, Pulisic, Nkunku, whoever we decide to start up there at the striker position, it's nice football. It's defensive-minded football. We are Italian. We're an Italian team. Catenaccio is part of us. It's engraved in us. It's what it's what built this nation. It's what won us 4 World Cups. It has to be something done right.
And Allegri's a winner. He
is a winner.
Steve.
But what happens is Catenaccio is only as good as your striking. If your striking is not up to par and you can't hold possession long enough to give the midfield and defenders a break, guys, we could have, the Maldinis, Baresi's, and Tassottis, and Costa Curtas, and Nestas, and whoever else you want to put back there, Yap Stam. Those guys there, they were phenomenal defenders, but they were only as good as their midfield, and their midfield was only as good as their strikers. At a certain point, those guys were able to play a little bit of offensive ball. But now we're asking these guys defensively in midfield, and by the way, we have a 40-year-old midfielder who's running more than Leão. That's a major problem. It's a major fucking problem. Our 40-year-old Luka Modric that we got gifted from Real Madrid because they needed to move on is running more than our star player, our highest paid star player. He's trotting around like this. His hands are down. He puts his hands up like this. He's making runs. He's jogging. He's going for a jog around Central Park. Hey! What? Let's go, man. Let's go. You're in second gear. It's a car in second gear still has the second gear. We're almost in neutral and reverse with Leão now. So if he's injured, like we said a couple of weeks ago, make him sit. Because Pulisic came on and he ran at least. He didn't create, but he ran.
He ran.
You understand?
He ran.
Fulkrug, he came on. He has a broken foot. He ran. Now, muscle, we're thinking Leão, it's muscle. And let's say injury to the foot. We're going to say broken bone, not enough to stop the German from playing. But come on. Guy, the body language and the energy is something that you cannot not see that on TV. People are watching and they're saying, this guy here, it's time to get rid of him. It's time to move on. And they have a point. People, they shit on Cassano. It's games like this that Cassano's 100% right.
Do you, to Vinny's question too, he was mentioning the way he's been playing. Would you even attempt a 3-4-3? Would you sacrifice a midfielder to make Pulisic and Leão play international?
We cannot afford to sacrifice a midfielder. If we do not fix our game in the final third to be able to hold possession a bit more and to be dangerous and to actually capitalize on chances that we have and make the other team respect what we're putting out on the pitch, there is no way this team can sacrifice a midfielder. There's no way.
The way even you were mentioning that you were kind of convinced that he might have been hurt. Steve, when was the last time you saw him go on one of those runs when a brucia tut, he's just running past defenders? Well, guys, in the comments.
at the beginning of the year before this injury came along. Maybe. I'm not even convinced that that's the case. And I truly think that if he does get back to 100%, we seriously need to think about maybe putting him back as a left wing back, as a left winger, and not a striker. There you can keep this 3-5-2 and it can mold itself. But like we did in the Scudetto run, we need to make sure that we isolate Leão with someone who's very responsibly defensively. very, very responsibly defensive.
I like that. So all in all, guys, it's week 22. 21 games straight with no losses. Longest streak in all of top 5 competitions. Even Timia just put it up. When you talk about stats like that, you shouldn't be in second place 5 points behind. But when you have a lot of those ties and those drop points, there's still 16 games to go. We don't know what's going on. Como, Milan, it's going to get taken whenever. And Steve, we are playing on Tuesday against Bologna. And obviously, you know, we always get these kind of matches when the adversary looks they're going to come out hungry. And we're going to take a look at what happened in the Serie A. Did you want to add anything to this game before we look at week 22 recap?
Would have loved to come away with 3 points. Would have loved to come away with 3 points.
They would have never fucking scored, guys. On that note. This segment is brought to you by FuboTV, your home for all things Serie A and DPL here in Canada. E si può anche ascoltare in italiano. Steve, Pisa goes up 2-0 out of nowhere, right? And then io faccio le gol contro le piccole. Lautaro Martinez comes on. Pio van Basten came on and 6 goals. And Inter is strong. Inter is the best team in Serie A. But Pisa, guys, what are they doing? Like, in somehow, some way, you go up 2-0. Against
Pisa
Inter.
Forgot about plan A and plan B.
Oh, okay. They didn't know what was going on, but you know what? I think even though it is for Inter, they definitely deserved it. Le trompette. And another trompette for Fabregas and the company. Steve, Paz, no goal in a 6-0 win over Torino. Torino's bad, Steve. Just Torino's very, very bad. And Como, convincing, Steve, really convincing. Or is just Torino that bad?
Torino's pretty bad. Como played a good game. I watched this game. They were at home. I think that's the record win for them. I think they never scored 6 goals, especially a 6-goal margin. But Como looked good at home, and Torino looked really bad.
Horrible. Cagliari with back-to-back wins, Steve, and this is at the expense of Fiorentina. Fiorentina would have win last week after the death of El Presidente, and this one, no. Couldn't make it 2 in a row. Still at the bottom of the tables, and Cagliari putting up 3 points on this one. I don't know if you took a look at this game, because you definitely didn't take a look at Lecce Lazio there at the 0-0. But anything to add to these matches?
Nothing to add to Cagliari and Fiorentina besides the fact that Fiorentina need to go on a run, and losing to Cagliari was not the way to start it. Lecce and Lazio, everybody fell asleep. The nation fell asleep. The world fell asleep. Any insomniac who really needed some sort of non-medical induced sleeping method to try to get. And this is where the EPL pundits really, they go to town on Serie A, because of all the games. They're not going to watch 6-2 Inter, that's for sure. They're going to watch Lecce Lazio and complain that the Serie A is boring. And, shame on Lazio, shame on Lecce. That was a game that no one wanted to win. No one wanted to lose. And it was going to end up 0-0 regardless. Lazio, it should be ashamed.
But now Lazio, Sarri, and Lotito, they're back to friends, Steve. It looks like. They got some players. They got Daniele Maldini. Romagnoli now, he's back in the squad. We're going to have to ask Strasbourg Steve there. He's back in the chat there. What's going on at Lazio? Sassuolo, Steve, they took 2 minutes to score a goal, and then they left it at that. Sassuolo win at home 1-0 against the Cremonese. Atalanta don't know, Steve. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with. It's been years and years with the Jekyll and Hyde of Lazio, but I think Atalanta takes the cake this year with the Jekyll and Hyde because you really don't know which Atalanta is showing up, and this is the Atalanta that we've gotten used to in the last couple of years. 4-4 pere al Parma.
Yeah, good on Atalanta. Nice to see Scamacca back on the score sheet, and he went off injured. Worrisome with Scamacca always going out injured. So nice to see him back on. I think Atalanta have a good looking squad that needs to just have some better results. They have too many dips and too many lows that don't make them hang around that top four, but they could be dangerous. Like you said, four against Parma, not easy.
Leave it to Junior Messias, Steve, to score the winning goal against a Bologna that just keeps on dropping points. And like I mentioned several minutes ago, obviously we're facing them in the next game. An entertaining game, Steve. But this one, the EPL will not. They'll talk about how there's 5, possibly 6 teams that are going to make it into the Champions League. They're the best in the world. This is the one I'm going to talk about. But good for Genoa. Good for Genoa on this one. And a 5-goal thriller, as they would say. Lots of trompette in this one. Thank you, Junior Messias. Steve, did you hear? They're back, Steve. Juventus is back to being, according to a lot of people I've spoken to, the best team in Serie A. Last week's Cagliari loss, that's forgotten. They don't have to talk about that one. But what the hell was Conte thinking in this game? I'm sorry, Juve played a very, very fantastic, but Napoli's like... And this morning I was hearing at the bar, yeah, but the injuries of Napoli. Injuries? Like, everybody's got injuries. Napoli had no business losing 3-0 against Juve, Steve. How did you enjoy this match?
Look, I think they got a little bit shocked going down 1-0 to a goal by Jonathan David. Again, I think Juve played a good game. I think Juve played their game, and Spalletti was able to do what he wanted to do to dictate play, and I don't think Conte was able to rally up the troops like he usually does. The injury excuse, everybody can say that. It seems like now in the January months, the dog days, everybody's playing injured, everybody's playing a little bit banged up. They drop points in the Champions League. Napolitans are going to forget about that against a 10-man Wi-Fi password. So no disrespect to them, but that's not a game for them to drop points, especially in the Champions League. And Juve came out and Juve had something to prove. It's Spalletti versus Conte, Juve versus Napoli, North versus South, and North wins this time, right? So Napoli needs to find some answers. Putting in Lukaku, I don't think is the answer. They have an injury that's going to hurt them, and that's Neves.
He's going to be out for a while. Huh?
He's going to be out for a while. Milinkovic-Savic is out, but lucky for Naples, Meret is back. So, everybody needs to figure out the injuries. And for me, the margarita pizzas, I'm not going to take that excuse of injuries. Everybody has injuries.
And ending week 22 with today's game, Udinese 3-1 at Verona, which leaves the standings, Steve, as of week 22. Everybody's on par. 5 points behind Inter, Roma, and Napoli, Juventus within a point of each other. Como, 40 points. And Steve, we're having a little... because you know that the EPL is the best league in the world, obviously. If you take a look at the top 5 leagues and you look at the top 5 teams, the difference in points, we got the most competitive league right now in point differential. It's been a while that we haven't seen Serie A like this. And I think it's going to be maybe exciting to look at Fiorentina, because we obviously don't want them to get relegated. And I think that's going to be a nice little race as well. So far, Steve, are you seeing the contenders being separated from the pretenders after 22 weeks? Do you think
After
Lazio's going to
22
stay up there?
after 22 weeks, I think we've drawn the line between the top half of the table and the bottom half of the table. I don't like the 5 point lead at Inter. I think that with a couple of match days that are coming up, where there's a lot of scontri diretti, and for them maybe a little easier match. We'll see. They have Champions League as well. It's gonna be tough. We can't, as a Milan fan, I speak as a Milan fan. We cannot let the lead grow more than it is right now, and especially with the derby coming on March 8th, which is going to be a 6 pointer. We need to remain in striking distance, right? And Milan needs to take care of their business if they want that second star. Good at Roma, hanging around. They have not beat any of those teams that you see in that left hand column. All but I think maybe Como. I'm not 100% sure what that result went to, but I know for a fact 1-5 they did not beat. But they took care of business at the rest of the table, right? And that's where Milan struggles a bit. Is we were successful against the left hand side of the table, but really struggled on the far right. So we need to fix that with the remaining games of the season. And guys, it's a Scudetto. It's a competitive Scudetto. And you know what? EPL fans, be happy because Arsenal's doing what Arsenal does. They're botching another EPL championship for them. So all the Arsenal fans, you're screwing it up again. I can't believe it. And you know what? I want to shout out to my man. Shout out to the man who, he said he's not going to cut his hair till Manchester United wins 5 in a row. There's hope, brother. I'll send you from Milan Weekly Podcast all the love and the hope that you can cut that hair, because it's 3 in a row or 2 in a row against very hard opponents, Manchester City and Arsenal. And now, if you don't cut your hair now, buddy, I don't know when you're going to cut your hair.
And on that note, excuse me, on that segment was brought to you by FuboTV, your home for all things Serie A and the EPL here in Canada. Steve, we got Bologna. We all do. And I know that Raleigh put up, what is Las Vegas saying, 83% winning percentage for Inter to win the Scudetto this year. In the end, I think their percentage was higher when we won the Scudetto. So it is what it is. Bologna's next, Steve, on a Tuesday, whatever. And then we have 2 weeks off. Do you take this as a negative, this 2 weeks, this whole Olympics, not going to Australia? What say you, man? Do you think this is a positive, or is this like we need to keep on playing and just keeping our legs, or maybe this 2 weeks will do some good to our beloved Milan?
Look, I don't think a break is ever good, but it's a bit of a strange year. Yes, the Olympics are there. There will be a lot of action in Milano, Cortina, with a lot of high profile people coming to the city, a lot of distractions. Maybe the 2 weeks in this case here for Milan will do some good. Get some people even more healthy, or healthier, should I say. And, we need a positive result. We need the 3 points against Bologna, and then we can take these 2 weeks. They can reassess what's going on. They can finish up a little bit of the mercato. We need to figure that out if we're going to be adding or we're going to stay status quo. And then it's the rest of the season. Then once after the Olympics are this 2 week break, then it's the Olympics that need to pass. That distraction in the city needs to pass. And let's not forget, Inter is in the same city, right? So people that say it's only on Milan, it's not. This is a Milan podcast.
No, Inter's
that
playing.
Distraction is there for Inter as well, right?
It's a distraction. No, but Inter is playing. They're not missing a game.
They are
they're
playing,
away.
But the distraction is there.
The distraction of Milan's not
They're
playing, so
away.
those
We
that
just
game at
happen
hand.
to play at home during the thing, yes.
Guys, again, subscribe, put those notification bells on. Probably Tuesday we'll be on with Coast to Coast. Maybe Monday. You'll know. We will let you know. Steve, I just wanted to finish off by I heard that even the EPL they have VAR problems and referee problems with handballs and not handballs, but it is the most entertaining league in the world there. But I saw on this wasn't called a handball, the other one was. So I guess it's not just the Italian league that's controversial.
No, and you know what? I always throw props to my EPL buddies when it comes to VAR because I think they do it well. They do it well. But Crystal Palace Chelsea was a shit show. It was terrible. There was no way that Crystal Palace was getting back into this match. I think Chelsea outclassed them the entire game. But Chelsea doesn't need gifts, EPL. They don't need gifts. And you know what, guys? It's my around the world of soccer for this week and Milan Weekly Podcast. EPL, Serie A. Guys, if we don't fix the handball rule, we have some serious problems and we need to instruct, I'm going to say in a savage way, then we should have defenders that just, will just tie their arms behind their back so that there's no handball. Because like we talked about earlier, if your hands cannot be in an unnatural position, well, define what a natural position is. Because I'm clueless with that. And, we're giving these teams that don't need more help, especially Chelsea, with a $100 million budget, to sign whatever player they want, whenever they want, gift goals like they did against Crystal Palace, right? And again, Milan have been subject to this in terms of like this weekend against Roma, we got one called against us, right? We'll go and we'll look back and we've probably had a couple in our favor. But these change depending on which game you're at, what time of the year you're at. It changes more than just that game. And that's where it affects. It affects people and it affects team morale. It affects so much more because we've gotten to a point now that, hey, we can't even celebrate a goal because we have to wait for VAR.
We have to wait. And I think it's pretty sad that most of us that I'll take that example of Napoli Inter, La Stampata, that they gave the penalty. It's become to a point where you're arguing that it's not a penalty, where everybody knows it's a penalty, but you're arguing the fact because we've seen it so many times not being called. So what is La Stampata? What is a foul inside the box? All this kind of stuff where... Anyway, so the problems are in Italy like there are in England. And on that note, guys, in the poll comments, chat, please go answer. Who is to blame for the 1-1 draw? Allegri starting 11, the player effort and mentality, defensive discipline, handballs, refereeing decision. Steve, what do you think has the highest percentage? Allegri starting 11, player effort and mentality, defensive discipline, handballs, or refereeing decision? Right now with 32 votes.
I'm probably thinking player mentality.
Circle gets the square. Yes, 38%. At Allegri starting 11 at 34. On that note, guys, thank you so very much for joining. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for supporting the Super Chat, Ramiz, Frank GPT. And on that note, guys, we got more than a week to wait until Milan's playing. Steve, let's concentrate on us. Let's go get those 3 points and we'll see what happens. Still lots of soccer to be played. On that note, guys, thank you again for watching. Ovunque e sempre.
Forza Milan!